That's our new, playing our new theme song.
Oh god.
You can't hear it, but it's pretty awesome.
Oh, I can hear it. It's ringing in my head.
We'll just fade this out.
This is gonna destroy our popularity. Like,
absolutely not. Everyone in the community loves Britney Spears. How can you not?
alright.
David?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I can take it anymore.
God damn it. Okay, let's go.
We are in the game. This is Intimate ZvX with Stoic. I am Stoic Nouveau.
I'm Stoic Regret.
This is Game 3. This is David on Tal'Darim Altar versus a player RaptorLighT from Team Light. Very good.
Britney Spears week.
Britney Spears week. And we chose RaptorLighT because his play actually reminds me of Britney Spears' later career.
What?
I don't know. Like, you guys can figure that one out on your own.
I don't understand. Oh, whatever. Okay.
So RaptorLighT, Team Light, ZvZ. Now everyone hates ZvZ on this fucking map because bailing all-ins are so powerful because there's no ramp to block with your queen.
Yep. But we're gonna open 15 hatch anyways.
You're a bitch. Okay, well, let's see how this goes. 3,
Okay.
2, 1, play.
So, Sean, are you on the right screen this time?
Oh yeah. If you guys notice that game 2 was out of sync, it's because I re-recorded it.
Or we were just behind
just
the
the
whole
voiceover
time?
we did, so we actually did that VOD twice. And it's pretty far off sometimes.
Oh boy.
It's funny because at the end of that game you're like, oh yes, dodged a storm, and then it's like 3-4 seconds later you dodge a storm, and I was like, how'd you predict that? Yeah, that's how it went. Sorry guys.
It's okay, that game was the longest and most boring of the games this week, so
But the content was delicious.
yum.
Okay,
Does
so
Britney Spears have a song called Delicious?
she
really
probably
should.
God, she probably has a child named Delicious by now.
She probably has a grandchild named Delicious.
No, you're scouting the way with your first overlord that I wouldn't have. What made you scout that? Oh my god, so did he. What made you scout across? I always scout counterclockwise.
Well, I scout across in ZvZ in these positions because it's closest to the front, so if he 10 pulls me, I can see it. If I go down
from
the
that
bottom
direction.
side.
From that direction. Okay.
Because if my overlord's like this, in order for him to juke this overlord, he has to literally go all the way to the middle of the map. So.
Juke. OGS Juke 2.
Alright, so we're going to be going 16 pool and a 17 extractor, and it looks like he's opening 14-14, which is the standard on this map. You just have to recognize whether he's going to be bailing all in you or if he's going to be trying to macro out of it by putting down his hatch. So, good news is I know where he spawned. That's why all my overlords are going to the right side. So judging by that overlord scouting the hatch going down or not, I will be able to tell whether I should be preparing for an all-in or macroing up and trying to gain an economic lead. So, at this point, just waiting for that pool to go up. Gas timings, taking the gas now.
Yeah, you see he
And doesn't have a hatch yet, but that's fine because it's still way too early. I have to see his lings first, so now I see his first lings.
So you know he didn't 10 pull already, because you would have saw his lings already, right?
Yeah, so the first thing I'm going to do here is build this spine, just because it is Tal'Darim, and now I do see his drone going out. So basically what I want to do here is get away with droning as fast as possible.
Now you
so
just
if this
made,
wasn't Tal'Darim, I would have already built drones.
You made queen, then 6 lings, then queen. That's
yeah, the timing on Tal'Darim is a little bit different. Normally you can do the first 2 queens first, but on this map, because there's no choke, and he's going to have speed before me, I want to have lings and a spine crawler, so he can't pick off drones with speed. So as you can see, the spine crawler is really going to help. He doesn't have speed yet. Took an extra hit. Every hit counts at this stage because my production is going to be higher than his eventually because I have 2 hatches. So at this point, he's continuing to make lings, and I see that on the map, so I'm going to continue to make lings. But whenever I think he's going to stop making lings, I will definitely try to get away with droning as much as I can. So, as you can see here, I'm trying to sneak in 1 or 2 drones every now and again. And I should be drawing a little bit after this.
You're way ahead of him in drones. He's just pounding out lings.
Yep. So that's why I'm unsure here. I'm building like one drone at a time. You never want to die to just lings, especially when you don't need to be producing drones when you already opened hatch first. So at this point, I see that he's continuing to build lings, so I'm going to build 10 lings here. No time for me to build drones, unfortunately. And I pulled all off gas because all I want to do is build lings at this point, so I do not need to invest into gas to tech. So now I have a whole bunch of lings, and it looks like he wants to back off. So I don't want to make these lings and do nothing with them, so I'm going to build a little bit more and use the lings as an aggressive scout to kind of attack him. Scouting aggressively is excellent. It gives you the possibility of scaring him into building more units, and it allows you to scout to see what he's doing. And being aggressive with lings at this point allows me to drone safely behind. So as you can see, I'm going to be shooting up in drones while he's going to be panicking and building banelings. So at this point, I see that he has banelings. I'm going to try to run around. Oof, that was close.
Oh boy.
And as you can see, I just do as much as I possibly can. This is really good. I'm picking off banelings that are being built. I picked off a queen. I'm winning fights in spaces I'm not, and I'm droning behind this. So as you can see, I've taken the drone lead.
You just took a big drone lead.
Yep.
But he's ahead in tech, though, so I mean, he can kind of stay safe here, right?
Yep, which is why I'm going to use these lings to poke around at the front to make sure he's not attacking me. So I can see he has very few units here, so I feel very safe to continue droning. That's why I built 5 behind this, going around, and I can see that queen kill allowed him to miss and inject. So even if he builds nothing but lings here, he will not have enough to do any damage to me whatsoever. So
kill that overlord, yo. Kill that overlord. Nah.
Sometimes I let it go. Yeah, I always do that.
Oh yeah, because you don't like to win because of stupid mistakes. Yeah.
For those of you who haven't followed our VODs, I tend to do funny stuff like that. Don't do that. If he gives you an overlord, kill it. So at this point, I've stabilized, and I see that he's not really investing too much into this push because he did miss an inject, so the amount of lings he has is almost nothing. So I'm able to take my additional gases here because I want to tech, and just be careful here not to lose drones. Just make sure you split them so he can't hit that many.
He killed 4 total this whole game, but you killed 5, so.
Yep.
Drone counts are even.
Yeah, the key here is I have a drone rotation lead, so I will take the drone lead. And I'm ahead in tech because I took additional gases.
God, your supply lead is huge, too.
Yep.
What's your time? Start counting it.
18, 9, 19, 20, 21.
Okay, I'm pausing at 9:30.
And go. Alright, so at this point, I know I have a drone lead. And I know that I cannot be attacked, so I'm going to use this opportunity to tech. And take my additional gases, and put down most likely an evolution chamber to get upgrades. And at this point, he's showing me his army by placing it under my overlord, so I feel very safe at this point. Even if he transitions into roaches, my rotation of units will be a lot higher than his, so if he does all in like that, he will lose the game. So I'm just going to try to sneak out these zerglings out so I can scout with them, make sure that he doesn't have a bunch of spines, or he isn't taking a ridiculously early third.
Nice.
Okay, so I scouted here. I see the rocks are not even close to being dead yet, so it's really good for me. And I scout here and I see a lot of lings. The first thing that I'm thinking of here is he hasn't invested into anything gas heavy, so he could possibly going into mutas. Obviously we know that he's not from the production tab, he's not even layer, but I have to assume at this point that it could be mutas. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is scout his base. So right when I hit layer tech, I should be building an overseer and I should be running it into his base. So this game I'm going to be going infestors. I do believe hydras are better, but I guess I just felt like to do infestors this game. Hydras give you more flexibility. You don't have to be right of whether he's going mutas or if he's going ground army, because hydras work excellent for both. And as a defensive unit, it's quite good when they're on creep. So I see 2 overlords there.
Landing that perfect fungal is like better than sex. In my mind.
So me scouting his whole base there with 2 lings basically tells me that I'm in amazing shape this game. He is way late on his gases, which means his tech will be ridiculously late. He's not even layer tech, and he showed me that he's building a macro hatch with a roach command. So I know 100% what he's doing, and my infestor count is going to hard counter any type of roach pressure that he wants to do to me. So, just in a really, really good position this game.
Indeed you are. Now what can he do? Speaking from his point of view, what can he do to catch back up here? Because he's obviously behind.
Yeah, at this point, it's way too much of an economic screw up to catch up.
He made too many
The only
lanes,
thing he can do at this point, in my opinion, is to go mutas. Mutas give you the ability to base race. It also gives you the ability to play very gimmicky by taking bases in locations that I can't reach. But going into a straight up macro game, ground army versus ground army, it's almost impossible for him to win at this point. I'm just continuing to build up my lead. My third base is even ahead of his. I'm even getting my own macro hatch, and I already have investors out with pathogen glands, so he's just in really bad shape. So I'm just going to continue to tech up to make sure that I secure this win, start getting double upgrades, and quite possibly going into Hydras for the complete death ball of Hydra Roach Infestor.
Hydroch Fester. That's what I call it.
Good name. So as you can see, I've already built all these overlords, not as a mistake. I just know that I'm fully saturated, so once I deposit all my gas into infestors, I will have a huge pile of minerals left over, because infestors are so uneven on their gas deposit to mineral deposit. So as you can see, it allows me to dump everything into drones, which is why I went up to 172 food there, because I can instantly build 16 drones, and I know I cannot be attacked at this point. So just really good position for me. And I even scouted his roach count here, so I know it's very hard for him to catch up at this point, especially because my third base is even going to be ahead of his. So at this point, you want to be careful of counterattacks. He's going to have to try to do something about that. You don't want to lose a whole round of drones just because your army wasn't in the right location at once, like we see here.
And as you say that...
Yep, but this is fine. It would have been better if infestors were there, but it's not really a problem. Well, this roach attack is really good for me. I'm able to catch a lot of them. So hurting all those roaches basically means that I'm going to be safe to transition into Hydrotech after this. So I'm not handling this excellently, but it's a good thing to learn from. Just keep in mind, counterattacks are how people try to get ahead when they know that they're behind. So, but it's fine. My production value is way too high at this point, so I have a huge supply lead, and I'm able to build 15 drones safely at this point. So.
He did kill 23 workers.
Yep.
What's your time? Let's do a time check.
16, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Okay,
18.
I synced it. I was a couple seconds ahead. I don't know why that happens, but it does. So. Okay,
so at this point, I'm just going to pool up gas now because I have enough infestors, and transition into Hydras. The reason why I'm building these spines at my third base is because I know I'm massively ahead, so I can invest into stationary defense to ensure that run-bys don't occur anymore. And yep, at this point I'm just waiting for my resources to kick in so I can start building that huge death ball. And I'm probably just going to push out, and it's very difficult for him to keep up at this point because he's so behind economically.
Taking the fourth.
Yep.
Like it. Dun, dun, dun.
Alright, so I guess we'll take this time to talk about engagements in these type of armies. Ground battles with infestors in ZvZ. You obviously want to have the biggest concave, because the biggest concave means that the majority of your units are hitting something, and the majority of his units are not, because the ones in the back are out of range, and they'll just be moving forward in a clump trying to attack something. But there are, obviously, different scenarios that make concaves bad or concaves good. For example, if you have a high number of Hydras in your army, then the ability for him to fungal a large group of Hydras is actually not that efficient DPS-wise. But it is more important to keep the Hydras alive. So clumping Hydras means that the surface area of his roaches hitting your Hydras is less, because if it's a very large ball of Hydras, then the Hydras in the middle are not being attacked. It's kind of like a force-fielded army with sentries as Protoss. So if he clumps into a ball and you have a bunch of Zerglings and Roaches, even though you have a nice concave, if he force fields around and is in a big ball, your units are actually not attacking the units in the middle. So in that way, sometimes you want that kind of a position. This game is not the case because the majority of my army is not Hydras. It's actually very Roach heavy with a lot of Infestors.
Plus you just supply block the shit out of this guy.
Yeah, if I didn't have Infestors and all these Infestors were Hydras, then clumping Hydras into a ball like that, with a perfect meat shield in front of the Hydras, even if he has great fungal growths, the DPS outputted from the Hydras because of their significant range will way outdo the DPS of his Roaches and his Infestors. So at this point, I'm just trying to secure this base.
You ran all the way back there to kill that?
Yeah, the reason why I'm going back here is if I was on equal footing with him or behind, I probably would have gone for the attack because I knew that my army was stronger. But there's no way for me to lose this game because I'm so ahead at this point. And securing this base, putting me a base ahead, basically means no matter how we trade, no matter how we trade our armies, I will always have a stronger army. So it's better to lose that. Yeah, it's not worth it to lose this hatch, especially because now I have the spine crawlers up there, so I cannot lose it anymore. So securing that base solidifies the win. I mean, it probably would have been the same if I attacked, but as you can see, because of that fourth base, with the resources I already have, my remax value just doubled. So
and he doesn't have any remax
value. No, not at all. Just way too behind this game. That's a cute burrow. Not gonna work. Alright, so as you can see, this is going to be an engagement. I just want to spread my army as much as I can, get the best fungal growth I can possibly get. So I'm going to be coming in a line like this.
I think your supply block there on him really fucked up his resources. That's what did it.
Well, not really. He had to build that many spines or else it would have been over. Like, he's just way too behind this game. So he's doing some cute counter-attacking here, but it's not going to work. My army value is way too high. I can start massing Infested Terrans if I'm doing that now. Make sure you fungal growth their Infested Terrans. Infested Terrans are really strong DPS-wise, but they are horrible when they're fungal growth. So as you can see, I just killed all.
Wait, fungal growth to take the kill Infested Terrans.
It's 2, but because everybody clumps them, like you saw how my bunch just died instantly.
Yeah, it's easier to spawn them that way when they're clumped.
Yep. So at this point, it's pretty much impossible for him to win. I don't even need to gather resources anymore.
Yeah, you're at 200.
Yep. So, just just keep in mind, ZvZ is really about macro early game. Cannot get behind. If you have nice rotations and you understand how to spend your resources at the beginning of the game, it's very easy to go into mid and late game like this. When he's already at a deficit, it's very difficult to lose. So at this point, I'm just going to gather up my I really don't need to play this cautiously. I don't know why I'm playing so cautiously. I have so many resources and such a powerful.
Yeah, you don't want to throw away that. I mean, there's no point in doing that either.
Yeah.
You'll lose your hive and your infestation pit, though. He's going to lose his life. Plus, he's got no Hydras to bolster his army, right? So that's going to...
Yep. Just too much of brute force at this point. Not much else that he can do.
And that's going to be all she wrote.
Yep. Big force.
Wow. It's interesting.
And that's GG.
Alright, I'm going to close this game out with our theme music.
Oh boy. Oh, I can hear it. Oh boy.
Fading out. Fading out. Fading out. Alright kids, that was game 3.